We are already having a restart. I just started the stream. Okay then. Interesting. Let me just
Oh,
promote the
nice.
channel real quick.
I'll share it out on my Twitter real quick. Give me a sec.
Nice. Got so many
Yeah,
platforms to share it on now.
yeah. We're not even start. We haven't even started quadding. We're having a restart. I knew this would happen with F5 restarts. Not good.
Yeah, oh well, can't do much about that. It's just something that happens.
Yeah, but I'm just finishing my dinner, so give me a sec.
Yeah. What? Just give me a minute. I need to up my sound because I literally cannot hear you. Okay. I should be able to hear you. Better, at least.
Yeah, I have my voice from that to share, so well, yeah, we are pretty much here for people. What do you think? I don't really know much about F5, do you?
Me neither, but considering what I thought pull times would be like 33s, I think high 34s, maybe low 35s would be good for these guys. Of course, I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, that's my prediction, at least.
Well, I'm not gonna go far wrong with what you said. I was thinking maybe high 34s, low 35s. And if there was one man to do it, I reckon JT, Jack Tyler. I don't
Y
know, I just feel like he's picked up form recently.
yeah, I mean he's been doing pretty well on FP. So yeah, he can do really good stuff. I mean, mainly what I remember in France, his wet pace was amazing. Even if he was in a Red Bull, yes, but his pace was still really good. So yeah, it's definitely, okay, yeah, it's definitely possible for him to get into them, and yeah, um, I predict that too.
Well, if we were going to go for a 34-9 hole originally, I was thinking, who would you go for the race victories? I know Jack Tyler's quick, can be quick and quality sometimes, but in the race, will he be able to make it last the whole 31 laps? Very tricky tracking, long laps around a 139, 140 race, I do believe. Each lap for 31 laps, that's quite a long time.
Yeah, well, yeah, it will be difficult for Jack Tyler, of course. He's really quick on one lap pace, but as we have seen in the past, he does tend to struggle with the race pace, especially. So the race winner will probably be the person who has the most experience in the league, and I'm pretty sure those are the likes of Notorious, F1 Mr. P, LFC for Life, those guys that have a lot of experience on their back, and those, I believe they can definitely fight for the win since they have the consistency. They can drive cleanly and fairly and avoid the barrier essentially. So I think they are possibly challengers for the race win.
Yeah, definitely. But one negative thing around Singapore, tire temperatures are going to be a very big problem. If you go for hypersofts, the likelihood of it lasting and being successful is like 1 to 99. In all honest, the only reason you should pretty much use hypersofts in qualifying if it's going to be raining for the start of the race, because as you know, I'm not sure what tire did you start on in F1. Was it ultras or hypers? I don't know
I
which
mean,
account it
I
was.
didn't qualify because as usual I bottled quali, but I was intending to start on ultras.
Yeah, well, it must have been your teammate then, Big C. He started on the Hypersofts and pretty sure he was struggling after like a lap and a half. That front right, the tire temps go through the roof, so it's definitely a problem here. So what I'm gonna think is we're gonna be seeing a lot of people trying to get out the back of people's cars, take odd lines just on straights, trying to not get into hot turbulent air, and just try to keep tires, the engine, everything cool, so they can survive pretty much.
Yeah, well, the Hypersofts are especially a dangerous tire in the game and in real life. They are a qualifying tire, well, supposed to be on most tracks, Monaco, but yeah, that the Hypersofts really wear out really quickly around Singapore. And if you don't conserve them, if you don't take care of them, you're going to lose a lot of grip and will inevitably spin. Whereas the Ultra Softs, it's not a clear like one step down from the Hypersofts to the Ultra Softs. In real life, they've said it's more than one step because of the Hypersofts being a quality tire, not supposed to be a race tire. So yeah, if you're going to start on the Hypersofts, you're going to have to take care of them. But in my opinion, starting on the Ultra Softs is better, as number one, you make the one stop work, and that avoids a lot of traffic. And around Singapore, yeah, there are a couple straights, but it's still very difficult to overtake. It's still a street track. But anyway, loading into qualifying. Hopefully we don't have a restart again. And so far, it's a dry qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. It looks quite dry. No pretty. I've lost the word. Looks of rain, but you never know. It's F1 2018. Anything can happen. Codemasters make this game. Could be completely dry, bone dry 1 minute. Next minute, it's absolutely pouring down with rain.
Yeah,
see that.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was snow. In fact, like with the state of this game. That's a joke.
Well, in England we're predicted snow. Just the question is when. All over the UK, we predicted snow. Hopefully it comes.
Hopefully not. I need to pass my GCSEs.
Not even that, to be honest. Just get a bit of time relaxed. We do have Jack Tyler in the Sauber, F1 Mr. P, I do believe it was. No, Jamie met 92. Did see a Force India coming on. It may be an F1 Mr. P. Or it may be the Spaniard or Majesty and stuff.
I mean, Mr. P is... No, he's in the pits. I think the other Force India is the Spaniard, and he's also in the pits. So, but Jack Tyler is the first out on track, and already in qualifying we're seeing a whole different range of tire compounds, ranging from the softs to the hypersofts. So obviously people picked the harder option, possibly predicting that there may be an early crash and they could go onto the softs and last them for a pretty enduring amount of time. But Jack Tyler has obviously chosen the hypersoft, so he may be choosing to qualify in a higher up position and just avoid the carnage at the back.
Oh yeah, definitely. What I'm going to say is, with the two shot, even if he did go for it, you may get stuck in traffic, but I think you're going to be seconds of that faster at the end if you go ultra soft, soft, hyper soft. Just think you're going to have people on very warm, soft tires compared to fresh hypers. You're going to be about 3 seconds of that quicker around what I do believe is a 23 corner circuit. So definitely a chance for people to try the two-stop. That may be what JT's trying here, possibly. I don't know. Maybe he's just sandbagging a little.
Well,
yeah, we'll wait and see. Maybe wet still.
So yeah, obviously, but Jack Tyler now is going to start his lap. Heading into turn 1, we will go flat out through here, obviously on the straight. DR is open, braking just after the black box on the right. Going through turn 1 and 2, into turn 3, clipping the apex, early on the power, now into turn 4, I believe this is, braking just as the curve starts, taking a lot of curve for entry. DRS open, once again, there's only 2 DRS zones on this track, but the longest straight, the fastest speed you'll get to, braking just after the 100-meter board, getting on the power as early as possible again, and then another braking zone into a very tight and awkward corner. You don't want to get on the curb, and that's what Jack Tyler hasn't done. Didn't get on the curb, basically. But anyway, heading through into this section, you want to make sure not to clip that wall on the right, or else you'll get swung into the inside and probably lose a wheel. So, heading through this tunnel and into the hairpin, it's very difficult to get this part right, but Jack seems to have done it pretty well, and continues on his lap, heading into this next corner, bringing just as the white F1 2018 signs end, and heading into this right-hander. This is, in my opinion, a pretty difficult section to get right, as you can hit a wall on the right, but Jack has narrowly missed it. And through this, another tunnel, I guess, or bridge, under section, whatever it's called, into the last couple of corners, on the power as early as possible again, and he's into the pits. So he's not finishing his lap, but someone who is Jamie, and he finishes the lap and sets a 37.7 on the Ultrasofts.
Yeah, well, one thing I did notice in that lap, Jack Tyler had to manage his ERS. This track is a very tricky one. You need to manage ERS. I can guarantee you now, you will not be able to do the full lap in hot lap. You will run out towards the end of the middle sector, and the start of the final sector. You'll start pretty much coming to the end of it. So what you're gonna have to do is probably in the middle part of the sector where the Singapore sling used to be in all that, and not being in sets of 35.9 with 1.3 seconds faster than anyone else. Going through the Singapore sling part, you need to put it down into maybe medium or high and just save the ERS, so you make sure you have enough for the end of the lap. You may think it may lose you a bit more time, but no, it'll gain you the time back and maybe even make it quicker. So definitely worthwhile doing, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. P goes second with a 36.7 on the Ultrasofts. So 8 hands down from the P1 man, Nick. Pretty decent, would you say, for an Ultrasoft time?
Yeah, definitely 36.7. I think Mr. P will be happy with that. As I'm not sure if that's him lagging or is that me. Did see his car lag quite a bit, but yeah, I'm sure Mr. P will be pretty happy with that. He's almost a second quicker than his nearest Ultrasoft competitor, which is Jamie Met. So yeah, good stuff from him. He'll be happy with that. Currently lined up second on the grid, and who knows, he may be able to jump Nick off the line. If he does, then Nick is going to be absolutely screwed, because them hypers will overheat a lot more than they need to. So he needs to get a good start, Nick, if he's going to stay like this.
Yeah, definitely, and I mean, it is also always possible that it will rain at the start. We don't know that yet, so anything can happen, and especially in Singapore, as it is really unpredictable. Of course, if it does rain, it will most likely result in an hour's race, as Singapore is the longest track on the calendar, time-wise, because if it rains, you're doing 31 laps on the longest circuit in the rain. So that's equates to an hour. So yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be a long one for us guys, just straining our throats, and I say. It won't be too nice, but although it may be long, but if you go back to the F6 race last weekend, I do believe it was a wet to dry, dry to wet, back to dry race, and it pulled off an absolute cracker. It went dry into his wets, into his dries. What a fantastic race. Maybe we could see something like that. And I'm sure if we do see that, the time will fly by. We have yellows in sector 3, that's where people cars are going to so back and trying to find a bit of space. But one man who is on a lap is LFC for life, coming to the end of the middle sector now. I think this will be enough to maybe get him up there with Mr. P, maybe quicker than him. So he comes into what's a very tricky part. You can easily hit that wall on the outside there, this is where Sergio Perez intentionally went to the side of Sergei Sorokin. Very controversial comment, but don't argue with it, because you know it's true. As LFC struggling with the rear, he's going to spin that round, surely. No, he isn't. How is that car still going? That car seems absolute mare to drive. Don't know how he's holding. He sets a 38.2. He'll not be happy with that, because that car was slip slide all over the place.
Yeah, well, because of that sliding, it may suggest that it is actually dry, because you really don't want that unstable of a back end in a wet race around Singapore, especially. And even still, it's still very high considering it is a street track, you still have to be beware of the walls, as they are tighter than they look. But anyway, heading onwards, Jack has now on the Hypers Ultra Softs, I'm pretty sure that is. So yeah, he's on the Ultra Soft. He's going to be doing his lap right now, and it's interesting, really. It's interesting because he's on the Ultra Softs instead of the more quicker Hyper Softs, so it is probably going to be dry, in my opinion, from what we're seeing here.
Yeah, definitely. But one thing's confusing: if you're going to start on them Ultra Softs, mate, you don't want to be coming out now. You want to be going in and setting them laps with about 3.5 minutes to go. So that's when the track's at its prime. The track's rubbered in, and you've got the bottom of the tyres. Is that due to a crash? Set 1 and 2. We'll try to find someone set 1 and 2. I'm gonna look at Deja Vu. Is he retired in the pits, or is he just generally crashed? I think he's crashed.
I'm on board with Mr. P now. He's heading into Sector 2. I think
yeah, Mr. P improved his time, by the way.
Sorry?
Mr. P improved in his time. He went from 36.7 to 36.3.
Oh yeah, that's very well. But Jack Tyler has improved his time. Well, set a time to go P2 on the 36 flat. That's a tenth, under a tenth away from Nick. Now that's insane. Jack definitely has potential with a 1-lap pace, and he's proven it here on the Ultra Soft. It said that good of a time. It's insane, to say the least. Oh,
yeah, well,
Mr. P has hit the wall in the tunnel section. Tunnel section. He's hit the wall and he's retired.
Yeah, but whilst that's happening, Nick Norkey's gonna start his lap himself. Oh, just have players now. So maybe did he set a slow lap on purpose so he can go a lot quicker on the Ultra Soft rapid T?
Well, well, he is using overtake, ERS, and DRS. So I don't think he's sandbagging. I think he's definitely trying to set a lap. But because of that 35.9, and I mean, I'm pretty sure Nick is leading the championship right now. He is very quick. So I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be able to set a quicker lap on the Ultra Softs. It's just going to be very difficult considering the people around him. Jack couldn't even overtake Nick on on his Hyper Soft time. So I mean, still it's a very impressive lap, but I mean, it's going to be difficult for Nick to set a quicker Ultra Soft time.
If you want me to be honest, Ash, I'm going to disagree with you. I reckon Nick can beat this time. And when I say beat, I mean by a comfortable margin. I reckon Nick is going to be on for about 35.3 on these. He's going to count the wall. He almost hits that wall. Maybe a slight little brush done the paint job in there. A little Fly Emirates sign coming out of that part into the penultimate corner. And now into the final. Will he be able to beat a 35 now? Actually, looking at it, he's not going to be able to, I don't think.
Yeah,
no, he isn't. It's a second down.
Well, yeah, it is. I've told you that the Hypersofts are a couple steps quicker than the Ultrasofts. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult. And as I said, and as they proved, it was really difficult. And hello to Abioden in chat, just saying hi, or well, screaming my name. Anyway. Luke
Someone
Bailey.
finally coming back out on tracks. Iceman Salah, 1991. He's got damage already. He's got damage. He's on an outlet.
Yeah, that's really not good.
Luke Bailey, did you say? Just saying, Jamie Met did lag out when you were speaking, so.
Oh yeah.
A few minutes ago. So hopefully he can get back in. If he can't, then there maybe another restart.
Yeah, with the weather set to what it was. Abioden, why Singapore? Because F5 had to postpone it due to PSN, I believe. And I mean, yeah, Jack, that was an insane lap. So you should really be proud of that.
Yeah, well, big Metessa, I don't believe it makes on that. NFC for life is going to be starting a new lap now, if you want to commentate into that.
Yeah, well, heading into turn 1 once again, flipping the apex into turn 3. Oh, that's very, very wide. That's not going to do him any favors. Heading into turn 4 now, I'm pretty sure this is.
That may be invalid. That may be invalid because he did run quite wide. So you know, he did run very wide eventually.
Yeah, well,
It
it's...
may be invalid, he may have got away with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you go slow enough, it's probably not invalid. It'll probably not be invalidated, but so far it's a pretty scruffy lap. That was really close from LFC for life. It's really not a good lap right now. It's scruffy everywhere, just mistakes all round. He's just not able to control the car well. And heading through the tunnel, braking for the hairpin. Second gear instead of first, which is pretty interesting, because you think that first gear would give you more turning, but heading into this right-hander, JB has finally rejoined, which is great stuff to hear. The more the merrier, of course. Into, well, where... Sorry?
Here, but not here, see.
Yeah. So, LFC coming through the last part of the lap, through the last couple of corners. It's really not a good lap, and yeah, he's pitted. It's been a shocking lap, not gonna lie. So yeah, the right choice to pit. He'll have enough time to pit, come back out. Of course, choosing tires on this game is much more quicker than last game. So yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, we got a Spaniard on a lap coming through the second tunnel part, almost, should I say. Not sure if it's the quickest lap coming into the penultimate corner. Nice little quick chicane. Very easy to hit the wall on the exit. He's not going to be anywhere near the pole when he pits as well. What about BUA?
Well, Bois is on... I'm still going to call him Bois, back from the F6 commentary days and start of on season 2 of 2018. So Bois comes through this next part. He's on ultra soft. Thought he was on soft. Sorry about that. But going through sector 2, ending sector 2, 27.9 for sector 2. Not sure if that's good or not, but anyway, heading onwards into sector 3 we go. And he's on the ultra soft, so I mean, if he gets into the top 10, it's going to be advantageous for him against the people who run the ultra soft, I mean hyper soft tire. So, but rounding the final corners, and it's not going to be the best lap, but I mean it's going to be a lap, and it's going to be in the 38s, I believe, and it's a 38.5. It's going to put in P9. So yeah, that's Bois' lap.
Yeah, decent. I'm not sure if you'd be best pleased with that, but when you were commentating that, I'm not sure if you missed, but mile 22 went up to P4. Just watching the end of his lap, it did seem pretty scruffy. It did seem to fight in the rear of the car quite a bit, so maybe you could see a retirement for him, not a stable setup, possibly. I don't know. I think Jack Tyler's going to stay in the pits.
And yeah, Jack, yeah, he's stayed in the pits. He's not going out, so he wants to start on those ultras. So that's going to be a pretty clear indication that it's going to be a dry race for the start at least. But Miles also retires, so it's going to be Nick in P1 currently, but he'll try to improve his lap. Of course, because his last lap was on the Hypersofts, he can set a lap on another set of Hypersofts. It's just going to be beneficial to him. But yeah, Jack will start P2. P3 will be maximum P3 for Mr. P and maximum P4 for Miles, whilst everyone else except the bomb, third, fourth, and second will not be able to improve their time. So I guess we can go on board with Nick and see if he can improve, but I'm pretty confident that's going to be pole for him unless the Spaniard can do something to negate that.
Yeah, whilst you're on board with Nick, I'm just going to be sticking on board with the Salmon behind the NFC for life. We actually know our lap together.
Yeah, well, on board with Nick, he's pretty smooth on the throttle so far through the first couple corners. He's doing pretty well, really, and pretty smooth, so he's feeling confident with that car, which is, of course, a good sign for him. Let's just hope that confidence makes for a good race. Let go. So we have some
Wait, was my mic on?
No, it wasn't.
Hello, guys.
Technical issues with Lickle. Apologies for that, but anyway, back to the action. Nick misses the apex by a pretty good amount, so not the best line through there, but he's going to get a better exit as we head into these next couple corners. And I mean, not going to lie, I think this could be a low 35.
Nah, I think he's only a 10th up in his lap at the moment.
Well, fair enough, but we'll have to just look at the rest of his lap to see what it comes out to be. Rounding the last couple corners, not riding the curve as much, so maybe lost some time there, but rounding the corner, and it's a 10th, 0.18 seconds up, and it's a 35.7 for him, so he'll be... so yeah, LFC goes 5th. The Spaniard though, he's someone. No, he's ran out of fuel. So the Spaniard rounds the final corner, and he will go P2. What a lap! Yeah, that's really good. And Spaniard and Nick are both really key title contenders. So this is going to be crucial because the Spaniard is on Ultrasofts. Nick is on the Hypersofts. So Nick will do the 2-stop whilst the Spaniard will be able to do the 1-stop pretty confidently. It's just now a matter of time to see how the strategies play out and if it's really worth it. But Nicole, do you want to run through the grid?
Yeah, sure. We have Nick on pole and Hypesoft on a 35-7. Second, the Spaniard on the Ultra on a 35.9. Same with Jack Tyler, but on a 36.10. Fourth, Big and Met Tessa on a 36.2 on the Hypers. Fifth, F1 MP, Mr. P on Ultras. Sixth, NSC for Life Hypers. Seventh, Jamie on the Hypers. Eighth, Miles on the Hypers. Ninth and 10th on the Ultras. Then we have everyone outside the top 10 on a set of softs.
So yeah, you just ended that perfectly. Thanks for that. But yeah, seems like some people favored ending their session outside the top 10, probably going to give them a tire advantage. So yeah, dry race so far at the start, like we predicted, but of course anything can happen really, so it's just going to be a matter of time to see what happens.
Yeah, well, I'm not even gonna lie, the softs can come into effect after about lap 5, so don't count the soft runners out, so I'm gonna say.
Yeah, well, of course, the softs are, in my opinion, the best tire because they don't overheat that badly unless you drive like a maniac. And, yeah, they're pretty consistent compared to the Hypersofts and the Ultrasofts. Of course, Hypersofts are the worst tire to be on. But, yeah, anything can happen.
Well, if you had to put your money on who would win, who are you gonna go for?
I'm going to pick the Spaniard because he's in such a good position that really anything he can do so many different strategies if he wanted to. But now we all have the formation lap. Nick, of course, in P1 alongside his title contender, the Spaniard, in P2. So yeah, all these guys will want to warm their tires, especially the soft runners. Now, I'm pretty sure nearly everybody outside the top 10. So, P11, the Bomb, chooses to go in softs. Notorious in P12 chooses to go in ultras. Deja Vu goes on softs, and Iceman in last place starts on the ultra softs, which is pretty interesting to say the least. But nice variety of strategy on this grid, and Big Metz and Jack Tyler have already been disqualified, which is not good, a collision between both of them. But yeah, you don't really want to warm the Hypersofts too much, as they already overheat quick enough as it is. So by heating them, it's just going to make them worse. So you want to get them in the green, yeah, but you don't want to overheat them too much, Meanwhile, the softs, you really want to heat them up in order to have the maximum grip. The ultra softs a bit in the middle. You want to heat them, but not too much, because they do still overheat, and they, by running 10 or 11 laps on them, because that's what you need to get onto the softs. Maybe a bit earlier, but that's what the race strategy says at least. They will make an impact because they will overheat if you're, an average driver.
Yeah, definitely. Well, going back to the question I asked you, did say Spaniard, wasn't it?
Yep.
Although I fish at him a lot in the chat, in the commentator chat, I do like bites out of him. I'm gonna go for JT.
Fair enough.
Not feeling he will win.
Fair enough. Well, of course, anything can happen. It is Singapore, so I mean, we could have a lap 1 travesty occurring, but of course, it's Singapore. Anything can happen. But as the cars will line up on the grid, Nick on P1, his title contender, the Spaniard, in P2. Who will win this race?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick on board in the back if you want to stick on board with the front.
Yep, will do.
As we are just seeing Iceman Salah putting in the back on the ultra softs. Can he deliver like Mo Salah does in the Premier League?
But anyway, we'll get 4 red lights, 5 red lights for the start of the Singapore Grand Prix, and the lights go out and we're away racing, and Nick gets a pretty decent start to start things off. The Alfa Romeo Sauber dive bombs some people, but they are in P2. I'm pretty sure Spaniard is in P3. Jack is in P2. He's had a great start, but Nick has had an even better start. Of course, on the old hypers. So great stuff from there. The Jack Tyler moves up to P2. Spaniard in P3. Big Metza in P4. LFC for Life in P5. But Mr. P has to defend from
my goodness.
What's happened?
Sorry, but there was a massive dive bomb from the Mercedes Weissman Sally. He's had a great start. Bloody hell, his car went absolutely, it would killed someone. He literally, it was horrible. It was, wow, he misjudged braking up on cold tyres.
Yeah. Well, speaking of misjudging the braking zones, Luke Bailey and the Bomb have both misjudged the quick left-hander where the Singapore sling used to be. But overall, it's a pretty clean start, not gonna lie. Nick leads the way, of course, into from lap 1 so far. Jack Tyler follows after a pretty great start, to be fair. Of course, he had to cut a bit of turn 2, but no harm done there. The Spaniard in P3.
Ignitas got damage. Ignitas got big damage in the front left and right.
Yeah, well, getting damage is very difficult to control around Singapore. And pitting it really is a difficult decision, as you'll be forced onto the 2-stop minimum. But Nick, of course, sets the fastest lap for the start. And yeah, that's that so far. Of course, the timings are glitched, as always they are. This is great stuff. But yeah, top 3 remain the same apart from Jack and the Spaniard switch places. And this should be an interesting battle for the win. But the Alfa Romeo Sauber of LFC for Life goes up the inside of Big Metza with wing damage. And that's a pretty easy move, but he has to now defend into the next corner, and he gets the move done. But the Williams looks for the inside, can't make it work. The Force India Mr. P now may try something, but I think it's pretty wise not to in this corner. And LFC for Life makes the overtake into P4. Big Metza has to stick behind in P3 with Mr. P in P6. But oh, the Williams tries a dive bomb. He's got even more damage now, and Mr. P might be able to overtake him. No, he won't yet, but that's not good for Big Metza. He's been impatient on lap 2 as he's gotten that even more damage, so definitely not good for him. Mr. P is trying to get around him somehow, but isn't able to. He's being slowed down a bunch. Big Metza is defending though. even though he has wing damage, and the Mercedes of Iceman Saleh might try and move. The Big Metza has held everyone up a bunch, and I'm pretty sure he'll have to pit. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he stays out. He's been overtaken by Mr. P and the Mercedes. Might try and move. Oh my God. The back end moment from Iceman Saleh, but now the Haas has dive bombed. Absolutely, Miles has dive bombed Big Metza, and now he's side by side with Iceman Saleh. And what has Saleh tried to do there? He tried to go around the outside when there was no space, but DRS open for all of them. Miles might try and move on Big Metza now. Oh, contact being made round the outside now. Even more contact. Now he'll have the inside. It's 2 by 2, and the Mercedes. Yeah, Luke Bailey has got damage. No contact, and Big Metza. Oh my God!
There's a huge. There's a 6-car pile up.
There's a pile up. Oh my God!
Can I just say, turn 1, Miles came from Miles back on that guy.
Yeah. Well, there was a large pile up there. And it's so unlucky from Iceman Saleh. It seems like Luke Bailey or Big Metza, I'm pretty sure it was Luke Bailey, turned in on him and just left him no space whatsoever. But now the Luke Bailey has damage. Big Metza has retired, and he's binned it into the wall on himself. What is going on in this race? These first 3 laps, insane. Whoa.
Well, Nick might choose to pit with the VSC. Oh, it's a bit of a late pit entry that may be sent to the stewards. That's quite a late pit entry from Nick.
Yeah, well...
Not sort of borderline. But he's decided to try to gain that time under the VSC. Could be crucial though, because Jack's been running the quick tires at the end. But with this 8-second...
Oh no! He's got the pit lane glitch. What? No, he switched in... Okay, what was that pit stop? Okay then. But yeah, Nick comes out in P8. Miles is pit. Everyone behind Nick is pitting also. But the order now is Jack Tyler leading this race with the Spaniard behind. VSC has ended and back to normal racing we go. LFC for life 9 seconds behind. Now that's a giant gap. And especially as LFC for life is on the hypersofts, Jack Tyler and the Spaniard are really quick to have that big of a gap. Mr. P in P4, Jamie in P5, Bo in P6, Dave Javu in P7, Nick is in P8 after his pit stop, Miles in P9, Torres in P10, Luke Bailey in P11, and the Bomb in P12, probably all having wing changes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just fell half asleep.
You fell asleep during this race, you what, mate?
I'm generally very tired tonight.
Fair enough. Well,
I came to help.
Fair enough.
Rapping on stream again.
Yeah, I remember that. Fair enough. Well, there's a really big. There's a 3-way battle for 5th at this point. Bois is very close to Jamie, and he's all over the back of him, all over his gearbox. There could be a move from him at any moment in time, but Dave Javu is now on the back of him now, so that's interesting. But Mr. P goes ahead of LFC. LFC has pitted, so this should be interesting. And Jamie has pitted also to get rid of his hypersofts. LFC coming into the pits, he might come out ahead of Miles.
Down the inside goes Spaniard on Jack Tyler, side by side. Good racing between the both of them. Jack Tyler left him plenty of space on the inside, showing that experience is Jack Tyler. But Spaniard showing a lot more experience, trying to switch back, making Jack look like an amateur. Can he get it done where the Singapore Sling used to be? He's a bit too far back and waits. At the moment, he's got the advantage of his championship rival Nick Knockegan.
Yeah.
Good driving between the pair of them. Although Spaniard's got a very good run, and Jack made a smart decision not to get phased by him having a good run. If that was maybe someone else, not like Jack Tyler, they would have went defensive and compromised himself for the exit.
Yeah, well, side by side again. Spaniard trying switchbacks all over the place, but Jack leaving him plenty of space, showing he's experienced now, as you said, from all these years of racing. But Spaniard all over the back of him. He knows he can get past him, and we've basically completed the whole lap. He'll be able to try and move at turn 1, but the dirty air will definitely affect him as... Oh, Jack pits from the Ultrasofts. That's very early, and the Spaniard takes the lead. Will Nick get ahead as he's fighting with a Ferrari of Dave Javu, and he's getting held up majorly? This could result in Jack going ahead of Nick, and I think he will. Not gonna lie, it's pretty probable that he will. And as he comes out of the pits, where is Nick? Nick is in P5. I think Jack will get him. I mean, Nick will get him. Jack comes out the pits.
Close. It's going to be very close. He's good.
Oh!
Here.
He's not had a good exit, but yeah, he's...
Nick's got him.
Yeah, Nick's got him. He had a horrific exit onto the track. He's going to regret that for the race. But...
VSC.
There's a virtual safety car. Interesting.
Oh, I don't think it's a VSC glitch, but...
Wait, is the VSC glitch back then?
New patch out possibilities. There's no reason why VSC should have killed out.
Oh no, not this again.
Spaniard mate make decision to pit.
Not Deja Vu.
Oh, no.
I'm in troubles.
Yeah, I reckon it's done. It was a very short VSC, I don't know why.
Jack Tyler has overtaken Nick, but I'm pretty sure that was a legal overtake, so he had to give the position back. But anyway, back to racing we go. Jack Tyler. Oh, Nick!
Nick's got damage!
Nick
got damage.
Nick has got damage. Now that is going to be a crucial part for this race. And Jack looking all over the back of Nick on those fresh softs. They're going to help him a lot. And he might try it down the inside. Yes, he does. But Nick leaves plenty of space, giving respect to Jack. And yeah, clear damage on the right side. Down the inside, very risky, but Nick thankfully leaves the space. And Jack is getting impatient here. He wants to make the move stick. Well, make the move and make it stick. But Nick does pit. And I mean, he is entering the pits pretty late. So I mean, he might be getting reported for it. But Jack in P3 for now. As the Spaniard leads from Mr. P. So it's a Force India 1-2.
Yeah, out of all of that, I think Spaniard's game. We could see an overcut from the Spaniard who needs to pit this lap if we want to make sure he keeps that lead, because at the moment he's going to be losing that time. He's going 3 seconds to cover that battle in, but he needs to pit now.
LFC has retired. LFC, I'm going on board with Luke right now, but he has retired. He's binned it. He's binned it at turn 3. He's
Ocon it.
Yep, that's very, very sad for him, but probably just had that back end as we saw in quali. His back end was very unstable, so yeah, unlucky for him. The McLaren, they're free wide into this corner. They're free wide, and oh my god, the Ferrari and Red Bull overtake the McLaren, and now side by side they go. The McLaren pushes the Red Bull, and side by side into this left-hander. The Ferrari brakes very late. The Red Bull switchbacks him and manages to get the move done on both of them, I believe. But amazing racing, 3 wide and no contact made. That is amazing respect and amazing, yeah, clean racing from all these guys. Has Nick got damage again? Deja vu. But they side by side again. On the inside, the bomb. And side by side racing. Very aggressive though from the bomb, leaving barely any space. And heading into these next couple corners. Deja vu all over the back of him, but very, very interesting stuff going on here. As WAP hits, yeah. But yeah,
looking to exterminate his opposition one by one.
Yeah, well, DRS opened for Deja Vu, and this could result in dive bomb, but he doesn't dive bomb. Miles gets another 3-second time penalty. Um, so according to LFC, his crash report, he got stuck on the wall after the slightest touch. So that's unlucky. LFC. This Cody's games usually have pretty sticky walls, so that's just unlucky, mate. Hope for better. But anyway, Ferrari on the outside. Nick will try it on the inside. And the Ferrari of Deja Vu has got the move done and dusted here. So amazing stuff from him. 4 cars in a straight line. Amazing stuff to see. Such close racing.
Yeah, this is VSC glitch.
Yep, 3 laps later, VSC glitch. And Miles has retired. He's been dead.
That might be the reason Miles came out.
No, he
And
retired
F1
after.
Mr. P. Oh no, F1 Mr. P's done something very illegal and he's just lagging very badly.
No, I think Miles retired after the VSC came out, so we definitely do have the VSC glitch, which is upsetting to see. And, yeah, it's just stupid, really, how they can do this. Patching a game, but then creating more holes after. So, I mean, Cody's fix your game, but other than that, great game. But yeah, oh, the bomb has got damage from Deja Vu. He's hit the back of Deja Vu, and he has got damage. And what is the bomb doing? What is he doing? He's completely corner cut under the VSC. That's not going to give him a penalty, but that is really, really illegal.
He's retiring. I think he's going to retire. I think he's heading over one. But the Spaniard has a 31. You gain time of JT.
That's really interesting, to say the least. Of course, the more VSCs, the more it helps the Spaniard, as Jack doesn't have the time to catch up. So, I mean, the Spaniard is in a really, really good position to take the win right now. As the bomb out of the pits, he hasn't retired, so I mean, that's going to get reported to the stewards, because that was an extremely illegal exit.
JT seems to be not fast now. And it has to hit.
Yeah, his tires must be overheating. High tire, well, very high tire temps. But yeah, the Spaniard has been on the Ultrasofts for 9 laps plus quali, so it is going to be difficult for him to keep up with Jack's pace on those fresher softs. But I'm just looking at Nick and Deja Vu, as Nick is closing up pretty well on Deja Vu, so he might be able to make the overtake work here. But anyway, a third of this race has gone by, so yeah, pretty long amount of time, but still a lot of laps left, and Nick has caught up very quickly, and he's gone very wide though, which is going to compromise his line. He has DRS though, but on medium ERS, so that's interesting. He's saving ERS to go onto an overtake on the back straight, which is clever thinking, really, as they won't be able to overtake you later.
Yeah, well, Nick's just going to easy get this really done. I think both ways to pick a driver, so it is Nick. And Nick's the most fast easy to the inside. I believe has turn 6 or 7 this is.
Yeah, well, leaving enough room, easily done. Done and dusted. Nick up to P5, Deja Vu down to P6. And he'll be on his way, Nick, on a recovery drive from that disappointing crash that he had earlier.
Yeah, you're saying Spaniard is staying out. He is staying out despite JT catching. I don't know, it's gonna be close.
I think because he realizes that Jack still has to pit, and hence why he's stayed out, because Jack still will probably have to pit still, because I doubt he'll be able to last those softs. What, like 26, 27 laps or so? It's doable, but it's very, very difficult. And I mean, the gap is still pretty big. So I mean, Spaniard will probably be able to catch up pretty quickly. So I mean, weird. Well, clever thinking from the Spaniard, but Jack, I believe he can still put up a fight with his defending skills.
Yeah, well, you think Sammy could be relying on another VSC glitch?
Yeah, during the VSC, he'll hope he comes out pretty at a pretty favourable time as Notorious gets a penalty. But Nick, round the outside of Luke Bailey now, he's trying all sorts of moves, and round the outside will turn into the inside after this. And yeah, there's another VSC.
This game is broken. This game is trash. If you get a pit span, he stays out.
I mean, now this is just after his pit window. He is going much longer. I wouldn't be surprised if a puncture is inbound. And Luke Bailey has got a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags.
Oh, the bomb's gonna be coming.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's unlucky for him, but really just stupid about the state of this game. And now there's the VSC glitch. Hello, Big C, my teammate, or well, soon not for long. He's going to go with Gamer.
The man who I was gonna go with left me heartbroken. I'm still looking for a teammate. Anyone want to pick me up for free?
Who?
Anyone, I'll be a teammate.
I mean, Big C may not have the teammate love, but we still have the admin love. So, yeah, in P7 right now, Notorious, he's closing up on Deja Vu. Does he have damage, or is he just struggling on those ultrasofts? Pretty sure he's struggling. And Notorious kind of extends a bit, but Deja Vu gets a 3-second time penalty for that corner cut. Carrying on anyway. Okay, like cool. The bomb retires, which may cause a legit VSC. Probably not, because now that VSC's glitch is engaged, it's not going to go away because the game doesn't like sending out safety cars when within 3 laps of each other or something. It's something stupid like that.
Yeah, well, I am very, very tired. This is damage good. You're not wrong, mate. You're
yeah.
Not wrong whatsoever.
Yeah, well, Abby, this race is on a Thursday because they postponed it, so they had to do it on another day. But normal F5 will return on Saturdays, I believe. So, or Sundays nowadays. So, yeah. Don't worry, normal F5 coverage will be back with, who is doing the normal F5?
Leon.
Yep, so just join them. Anyway, carrying on. Notorious, Deja Vu and Jamie in a neat little battle here for P6. And the Williams of Luke Bailey has pit. He'll serve his 5-second stop and go penalty and will swiftly change onto the soft tires. But Notorious going side by side with Jamie. Jamie on the inside of into turn 1, and Notorious squeezed out a bit, and Jamie gets the move done and dusted. The Spaniard might pit this lap, but going back to Notorious, as he might try and come back on Jamie. But no, the Ferrari of Deja Vu is under attack from Jamie instead, and Jamie has got the move done. Notorious might try a move, and yes, he does. Contact made. He's nearly been spun round, but what a save to keep that on track. And the Spaniard has finally pit. Jack Tyler will probably come out in front, but it's just a matter of time to see as the Spaniard exits the pits. who will come out in front. I think Jack Tyler will just get him, and as the Spaniard comes out the pits, he'll be able to cut turn one, and Jack Tyler just gets him, and yep, just gets him. Deja Vu and Jamie close together again, but the Spaniard now on fresh softs will be interesting, to say the least. Oh, VSC, yeah, forgot about that. Now it's every 2 laps.
Oh, this VSC is seriously terrifying. It's not.
Yeah, this is just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah.
You know what? I might sign up to commentator league next season. Yeah, VSC glitch, it's back. We probably will have to turn off the safety cars for the rest of the season and probably the rest of the game too. So that's saddening, but yeah, that's just what it is, a broken game. Anyway, the Spaniard losing time as DRS is enabled. Back gaining time, forgot that time is not gained or lost. The Spaniard has Devil's number, so nice stuff to see there. But continuing on, I mean, if it's the first ever time it's happened, it's probably not going to be the last. So anyway, the Sorry?
This game's trash.
Yep. Oh well. Carrying on, the Spaniard, DRS open, he'll be able to catch up to Jack, and on those fresh softs, he will be pretty quick.
Pretty sure there was 10 laps younger than JT's.
Yeah, 8 laps I'm pretty sure, or 10, I don't know if the tire interval is correct. But anyway, DRS open for the Spaniard. This should be a pretty easy move. DRS slipstream overtake mode, engage, onto the inside, both racing side by side. Jack though gets the better run around the outside and makes the defense strong enough to stick. So the Spaniard will just have to wait a bit longer in order to get a move, but the Jack Tyler has had a massive slap of back end, and that's not going to be good for him and his tires especially. He'll have to try and last them to the end, but Jack Tyler's got very wide. Has he just let the Spaniard through or what? Because that was a very easy move for the Spaniard, to say the least.
It was logical that after that F1 Mr. P, they came second and a half. As I'm getting very sleepy and fall asleep. Keep commentating.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, Abby, like, we'll have to conduct tests to ensure that, like, this is an actual glitch or not a one-time thing, or something with the lobby host.
My goodness, Mr. P got damage, I think.
Nickel, if you want to go... Oh my god, okay. This game is glitched. Great stuff. Lovely to see. Anyway. Probably on lap 17 there's gonna be a VSC. Lap 17 or 18.
They've made a glitch a lot worse. Last game was wow, this game wow.
Yeah. Oh, well, can't do much. Anyway, we're going to go on board with Mr. P as he has a fascinating exploration of the outer bounds of the track. Some big boy words used there. Anyway, carrying on.
That tire's just low. And we got fast.
Wait, sorry, what?
JT lost loads of time since and we got fast.
Yeah, well, the fresh tires literally are insane. They're just going to help him a lot. Luke barely gets a 3-second time penalty, but yeah, carrying on. Has Big Mets left the lobby? Was he lobby host?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, interesting to say. Well, interesting to see. Anyways, carrying on with this race, we're over halfway through. But yeah, it's a pretty long race, so still a long time to go. So grab your popcorn and don't dare fall asleep. Anyway, carrying on, Deja Vu is closing in on Luke Bailey, so there may be an interesting battle occurring there. Well, you see, Abby, career mode is best game mode, and always is best game mode. Online is nothing compared to career mode. Career mode is always prioritized. Career mode is what everyone plays for. Nobody cares about online. There you go, I just explained the whole of Cody's enterprise to you. It's not really an enterprise, it's just Cody's company. Anyway, continuing on. We have no battles, and Deja Vu is not closing into Luke Bailey, which is not a good thing, as I don't want to commentate 14 laps with no action. Great stuff.
Oh, and as if you're trying to stay away from you, got to have 14 laps.
Oh yeah, the Ray is looking. We can play I Spy with My Little Eyes.
No, we're not.
I spy my little eye, a little Ashton Condor.
I mean, anyway.
I need a Red Bull. Who wants to go to a Red Bull for this road? And no, not Red Bull, Bombs driving the one.
I can contribute to you some life choices.
No.
Anyway, carrying on. Pretty dark, really. I spy with my little eyes something red.
No, stop.
Is it the F1 part of the F1 2018 sign? Or just the F1 logo in
Ash, you're
general?
just gonna make me fall asleep, stop.
I mean, what else am I supposed to do? There's nothing to commentate on. So, on board with the Spaniard, as we can see, these delicate movements of the steering wheel, very judicious use of it, as you don't want to be turning too much, or else you will ruin your tires and tire temperatures. So, as you can see, pretty smooth turning of that steering wheel as we head through the last couple corners, crossing the black and white checkered line on the asphalt. So as we head through the 110-degree hairpin, and heading through these right-handers, the Spaniard will ride the elevated curbs that are placed on the track at various sections in order to produce extra track. But anyways, using the racing line to its full effect, the Spaniard carries through the race, and pretty dominantly too, with Jack Tyler dropping down to 8.2 seconds at this point. Not good for him. But anyway, as we continue through the tunnel section and the hairpin, going nearly 180 degrees on the steering wheel, we go through the rest of this track, exploring the best racing line and conserving the tires whilst going quickly in order to finish the race in the position of the first diff. So they gain 16 points. What?
Lightning last week. Lightning started the new team after
Yeah, it's gonna be the same team anyway. So it's basically just a name page, to be fair.
JT's not very hard.
Yeah, he's losing time, but that, of course, remember, he's on like 10 lap older tires, and he's losing over a second a lap. Sorry? So yeah, 10 laps older tires. So.
Oh my god.
Anyways, as we go on board with the crimson red Ferrari, well, with the scarlet red Ferrari, we continue onwards as David Javu is catching to Luke Bailey in the titanium white Williams Rocket League reference there. As he is within 1 second's range of thy Luke Bailey, he will get the drag reduction system, which opens the rear wing at the rear flap at the rear wing by a press of a button on the steering wheel, increasing top speed by about 14 kph. Now this is crucial because with an increased top speed, of course, you'll be faster than the cars ahead. But alongside that, with the proper ERS mode, energy recovery system, and slipstream, the cars can reach upwards of 30 kph higher levels of top speed. Now this provides great racing because the cars will go back and forth with each other, fighting each other for the highest position possible in order to score these points and get as high up the championship table as possible. So as we can see, these drivers are pushing to their full extent and they're trying their best to race each other, go as quick as possible, and overtake one another. As we can see, David Javu is catching up to Luke Bailey in an attempt to overtake him for the 7th position. So, as we continue on with this 31 lap race, long word for okay, as we continue with this enduring 31 lap race, we see that David Javu is now losing a tad bit of time towards Luke Bailey, and a notorious what's another word for earns, collects himself a 3-second time penalty, which is earned due to corner cutting or exceeding the track limits being indicated by the white lines out on the edges of the track. Of course, if there's less than 2 tires on the track, then that means you will get a warning, or if you cut or extend by a large enough margin, you will then incur yourselves upwards of 10 seconds worth of time penalties. But as we carry on, Mr. P has pit, which is an act of going into the other part of the track, which has a speed limit, in order to change the tires, as the tires are unable to last the full race distance, unless of course you're in the wet conditions and you use the wets. Of course, there is the possibility that they can last the full race, but in to prevent those kind of circumstances, the FIA, the people who run pretty much all of the open wheel racing categories plus some extra, have enforced a rule that requires a mandatory pit stop during the race if it is fully dry. As we can see, Notorious is pitting and changing his tires onto the ultra soft compound, which contains compounds that make the tires stick to the track better, furthermore increasing grip and the amount of speed they can take through the corners. Of course, the softer the tire, the quicker it will be, and the quicker it is, of course, the better. But the quicker it is and the softer it is, it will have a shorter lifespan due to the way they are made. Of course, then the opposite is true also. With the harder the tire, the slower it will be, although it will last longer, and creating a mix of strategies. This has been in place for pretty much all of Formula 1's time, but what's the but? Ignore the buts. As we continue with this race, we can see that the tires that are have incurred more laps on them will struggle further as because of the grip, because of the friction of driving on the track and turning. The tires begin to split and shred, which may result in a puncture if that shredding gets excessive. But continuing on, Deja Vu is closing up on Luke Bailey by being more consistent and driving quicker. But although in some parts of the track he is losing the time, which is not beneficiary to him. So, as we continue, the Hypersofts are not being used, mainly because they are a very difficult tire to manage and are not the ideal race tire. So, we continue on with this race. 1.2 seconds, still the gap, staying pretty much at the same rate. So yeah, 9/10 now, so into the 1 second barrier go. This may be a chance for Deja Vu to keep in this 1 second gap and eventually gain the drag reduction system in order to overtake Luke Bailey by using DRS, ERS and Slipstream. Slipstream being the act of the car in forward, pushing out the air in front so that it creates a pocket where the car behind can close up, and due to this pocket the air resistance isn't as high, meaning that the car will move at a greater speed. Of course, this compromises when it comes to the corners, as the air that is pushed out is instead is formed into dirty air, which is disturbed air or turbulence. This disturbed air causes the aerodynamics on the car to not function as they would in the clean air, meaning that the cars won't won't have proper levels of downforce, and consequently will be turning less. But anyway, as Mr. P sets the fastest lap, we are back commentating, and Mr. P lagging everywhere. Nick has gone in front somehow. Lag, that's why. So Mr. P will battle with Nick in order to gain second position, and interesting. So we have no idea where Mr. P exactly is. All we know is he has DRS, and he will go for the outside, maybe the inside. No, he decides not to stay behind him. He hits the back of Nick, which I don't think resulted in wing damage, but it was a hit nevertheless. So as we continue, Mr. P looks for openings, but Nick is really holding him up because of because Mr. P, on being on the quicker tire, it's able to go much quicker than Nick. So as we go onwards, Mr. P will struggle to overtake through the last sector, especially as it's near enough impossible to overtake here unless you do a giant lunge. But carrying on, his main chance will probably be on the back straight, as he will most likely not try a move, as he'll just get overtaken on the back straight if he does overtake on the main straight. So heading into the main straight now, as we can see, Mr. P has much more grip, much more grip, that's basically it. Much more speed through the corners. And DRS open, he's not closing it up as much, saving DRS, he's on medium, not trying to use up too much of it, as he'll want to save some for the main straight, well, for the back straight, in order to attempt the overtake. So, heading into the back straight, he'll want to get a good exit here, and it goes very close to the wall. That's him pushing to the limit, but I don't think he'll be able to get the move done. He's in medium, whilst Nick was also in medium, so I mean, both of them are just struggling with ERS. Jack gets a 3-second time penalty. Pretty sure got a 3-second time penalty earlier, which is not good for him. But Mr. P has to get this move done sooner or later, because I'm pretty sure he has a set of penalties of his own to serve, I guess, at the end of the race. But anyway, carrying on with this nice helicopter shot. Nick still ahead and staying pretty well ahead. Of course, Mr. P is struggling in the dirty air, and yeah, he just has to stick behind and be patient, really. But you can't be patient for longer, as the race is coming to a close with 4 more laps left. Lickle, are you still there? I think Lickles has fallen asleep. Anyway, Mr. P, 2 tenths behind, he's much closer than before. This is going to provide him with a really nice opening heading into turn 1. But will he take that opening? That is the question. Does he take it or does he not? DRS open, high fuel mixture, high ERS ERS mode, and he chooses not to overtake. Now he's in a pretty high ERS mode, so he's going to use up more ERS, and this is not going to be good for him. Nick in overtake mode, and will Mr. P try a move? No, he can't. He needs to start saving ERS in order to be able to overtake, or he might try up the inside. No, he doesn't. Nick blocks him off, and Mr. P loses some time there, so not good for him, and he has to continue on struggling behind Nick and his dirty air. So as we continue on with this race, the Spaniard leads pretty dominantly, 24 seconds with 10 lap fresher tires. Nick in P3 battling it out with P4 Mr. P. Jamie in P5 36.4 seconds behind. 6th is Luke, with Dave Javu in 7th, and Torres in 8th, and 9th is Bois. 5 retirees and 9 survivees. Hello, my teammate. How's it going? So, Mr. P and Nick are having a pretty intense battle. Nick a bit further ahead than he was last time, but Mr. P has listened. He has a stream on. He's saved DRS. He is going to try the move, probably on the back straight, but he doesn't want to get too far behind, or else he will end up losing speed, well, not getting caught up in the best slipstream possible. But looks like he'll get the slipstream. Looks like he'll be able to get the move done. I mean, that's really far though. So, I mean, he saved a bit too much ERS, in my opinion. And that's another lap wasted. He only has 3 more attempts on that back straight. Or else, the race will, well, the podium will go to Nick unless he has more penalties than Mr. P. In which case, Mr. P will take the podium. But continuing on throughout the lap, 7 tenths the gap, so it seems like Nick has amazing pace, which is great to see. Should provide us with great battling, but one thing, Mr. P's tires may start to overheat, which is definitely not a good thing, and definitely not going to help in his lap times. So, as we continue on, the Spaniard is just extending his gap. He is dominating this. So, as we carry on, will Mr. P be able to get the move done? Oops. Don't think into turn 1 he will try it, but he is much closer now. He will definitely be looking for a move, at least, well, at least looking for it, or like trying to go side by side. He is definitely close enough. He just has to get the best possible run through this corner, and he has done. He just has to now push on, but he won't. He's not close enough again. That's just 2 more attempts left. He needs to get even closer in order to try it, and it's difficult, yeah, but he just needs to have the better run, and that's really difficult if you're on overheated tires, especially at the fronts on this track. They overheat massively, but he's going to try and move on the inside. Just barely. Nick misses him, but very, very audacious move. As we carry on throughout the lap, Mr. P has got wing damage. He has incurred wing damage. Oh, and they made contact. Nick and Mr. P have made contact. Nick has damage, but he'll still try around the outside of, well, Mr. P will try around the outside of Nick. Can't do it. He really needs to make the move done if he's going to try and get P3, or else this is game over for him. He can't do much there. Notorious gets a 3-second time penalty meanwhile. But as we continue on, lap 30 out of 31. So heading into the penultimate lap now for these guys. Nick will only have, well, Mr. P will only have 2 more attempts, and I don't think those 2 attempts will help because of his wing damage. As you can see, he has lost some of the carbon end plates, which is not ever good for an F1 car. And he will struggle much more for the remainder of this race. So I think he'll just have to settle for P4 and really just salvage, well, and just not salvage, protect the P4. Make sure that he's damage limiting his race. But as we carry on, Mr. P seems to have definitely lost the pace due to the wing damage, which is of course disappointing, but not much we can do here. So yeah, he's just going to have to deal with that. The Spaniard, however, will start the final lap of this race. Let's go on board with him. He has done the 1-stop, the only one to do the 1-stop. Actually, Jamie has done the 1-stop, and so has Jack. But Jack has been very slow due to him pitting 10 laps earlier than the Spaniard. That's cost him a lot, and it's amazing that Jack was able to conserve his tires enough to manage to make it to the last lap. Let's just hope he doesn't get a last lap puncture now, or else that would just be devastating for him. But as the Spaniard carries on throughout his lap, he can just chill out, relax. He doesn't have to push too hard. He just needs to make it to the end at this point, as there's no point really. He doesn't have more than 34 seconds of penalties, so he is fine to take the win as long as he doesn't just bottle it really. Don't do a frizzo, please. No frizzos here allowed. But as we carry on, Spaniard in the last sector of the last lap, or of round 9 of this PSGL F5 race, and he's close to lapping Bois here. Bois might just want to slow down and just take P9, or might he want to do a last lap. But anyway, the Spaniard comes home to win the Singapore Grand Prix. What an amazing win, and by 36.5 seconds max minimum, which is just insane to think of. How how dominant this race has been for him. So I mean, he's definitely a great driver. Jack, however, pitted 10 laps too early, which is sad, but I mean, in the end, he comes home in P2, which is still a very good result for him. And yeah, really good job to him. Great qualifying, and Deja Vu, just the fastest lap. Luke Bailey in P6, Deja Vu in P7, finishing on the Hypersofts. Nick in P3 finishes his race there. After doing the 2-stop after getting wing damage, so disappointing for him, but can't do much that race. Mr. P in P4, great race, got wing damage though in the last couple laps, couldn't do much there at the end, so he'll just have to stick with P4. Jamie will come home eventually in P5. Notorious comes home in P8, just damage conservation, just getting in the points really. 4 stops, so he's taking a lot of wing damage probably. And yeah, Jamie comes home in P5 to round off the Singapore Grand Prix. So after a long enduring race, here are the podium positions. The Spaniard takes the win, Jack Tyler in P2 and Nick in P3. What a race. So as Nick enjoys his trophy and his champagne, I'm pretty sure Jack gets rose water instead, because, you know, he's too young. Great, that's a joke, okay? Great job, Jack. Great job, Nick, and great job, most of all, Spaniard. Dominated this race from not start to finish, but after the pit stages, it was insane for him. So the Spaniard wins this race by an astonishing amount, 44.2 seconds behind is P2 Jack Tyler, with Nick in P3. P4 is Mr. P, P5 Jamie, and those are the top 5 that weren't lapped. P6 is Luke Bailey, P7 Deja Vu, and Notorious in P8, all a lap down. The retirees are Bois, The Bomb, Miles, LFC for Life, Big Metza, and Iceman Saleh. What a race, guys. What a race. Let's get these guys in. Apart from I can't because Luckle's not here, let's just quickly, you know. Okay, we switched to the party. Sorry about the blue screen, guys. So Jack Tyler, we'll need him. And we'll get the other 2 in also. Hello, Jack. Just got to invite. So just give me a minute. Sorry, guys. And there we go. We've invited both of them. So now we just wait and see if they join. Do both of them have mics? Nick does. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, Spanish does as well.
So just waiting on the Spaniard now. And we're all in. So, here are our three podium finishers. Can you guys make sure your thingy
Yes.
chat audio is unshared? Okay, nice. Well, the Spaniard.
Yeah, mine should be.
Um,
mine should
we'll
be
get
too.
started. We'll get started then. The Spaniard, you dominated that race. You pitted around lap 13, which was very late for the Ultrasofts. Managed to somehow last them, probably due to the help of his VSC, and just came out behind Jack, overtook him, and just dominated our race. So how was it really? Were you ever concerned that Jack would have caught up and I mean possibly giving you a five for your money? Yeah. So, I mean, you overtook him about lap 15, lap 14 or so. How was driving the last half of the race just on your own with no action? Well, okay. Great job on the win. Just stay in the party. I have one last question to ask to all of you at the end. But Jack Tyler, congrats on P2. That was a great drive. You qualified in P3, I believe. Managed to get to P2 in the end. How was your race?
Well, it wasn't chaotic, but it was just a bit. It was alright. I drove well. I'm not going to deny that. But the reason I let Spaniard through is because Mr. P was catching, and I was actually originally tried to let him overtake down the back straight before Anderson Bridge, but I couldn't because there's yellow flags there. So I let him through there. And then after that, I just tried to conserve my tyres, conserve the ERS, conserve the fuel, and then because I also am on pads, the tyre temps wouldn't be that good. But that 27 I got wing damage from just a lack of concentration. Hit the wall, got a 3 second time penalty, and just tried to drive my race from there. Luckily, Nick was battling Mr. P, so he didn't catch me in the end. But that was it, really.
Fair enough. Well, do you regret the decision to let him through?
Yes. No, I don't. Actually, no, I don't regret. No, because he was quicker than me, fresher tyres, and I knew I was going to struggle with my tyre temps. Didn't want to hold him up, so I just let him through in the end.
Fair enough. But do you also regret the decision of pitting on lap 5, which was pretty early?
No. My tyre temps are going through the roof. So...
Okay. What would you have changed in order to possibly fight for the win?
Get rid of the pad. That's what I really changed.
Well, fair enough. Well, thanks for that. Congrats again. And Nick, You had a really good start, but I mean, it only went downhill until the very end where you got your positions back. How did it go for you?
Yeah, really tough race, actually. Um, yeah, it's unfortunate, obviously, what happened on Sunday because um, I think that would have been a better result for me. But nevertheless, today was just about. I didn't think I was going to make today. I got sent home from work because I've got the flu, so to come away with just any points is pretty decent. But yeah, I pitted lap early. I could go all day on those softs, but those ultras and hypers after lap 6, I was getting 107 degrees on the rears, so spinning out. So I was always going to pit early. And then it was just the virtual safety cars, just drivers in front. I got wing damage twice, just because I think when they're delta, and then I was coming out a slow corner, and then I think it was BUA9 just literally slammed on the brakes, and I just went straight into the back of him. So had to pit again for a new set of softs. But yeah, it is what it is. I'll take a podium, and the battle at the end with Mr. P was fun.
Yeah, well, during that contact with Mr. P and you, what really happened there?
I think I was on about 60% wear at the end on those softs. The temps were good, but I was struggling coming into the bridge, the hairpin, and so I was having to brake quite early there. Obviously, you just cover the middle of the track, make sure you hit your apex, and there's not really much Mr. P could do. But I think he hit me once because I went quite deep, and then we were side by side, and I was like, did he hit me? Did he not? Or was it lag or what? But yeah, managed to keep the position, and then I did hear the engineer did tell me he had wing damage. So yeah, that was a bit of luck, I guess.
Well, had you not gotten that wing damage and everything went fine for you, do you think you could have fought for a P2 or even the win?
Definitely P2. And I reckon Spaniard was quicker here, particularly in the race. But obviously track position is so important, as you saw at the end with Mr. P. So um, on Sunday I made it to lap 6, and obviously I would have got a few laps undercut. So presumably I had clear air. I would have come out in front of Spaniard when he pitted, and yeah, then it would have finally we would have actually got to have a race long battle, which we keep seeing to just no one lets us have. Yeah, but no, when the virtual safety car came out, obviously in hindsight, if you known there were going to be 5 or 6 of them, I would have pushed my hypers because my tire wear on the hypers were fine. It was just the overheating. So yeah, it could have been fun with Vanjard. Maybe out of the last 2 races, we'll actually both have a clean race and both get to really dice it out.
One last question, before the last one. Um, you qualified on the Hypersofts. Was that always your plan?
Yeah, I did so many. I must have done 10 to 15 starts of this race online, and no matter what I changed on setup or how much I tried to look after my tires, they would after 6 laps they would overheat and I would just spin. Um, so I actually felt more comfortable on the hypers on lap 5 or 6, which was really important for me. And so that's why I chose to go on the hypers. And obviously, I thought if they're both the same, I'm going to pick the same lap. I might as well use the quicker compound and get higher up the grid. But Mr. Spaniard's lap on ultras at the end there was in qualifying was pretty good because he was under a lot of pressure without having a lap time, and to nail that lap on ultras was yeah massively impressive.
Especially being a 10th off on ultras and hypers as well, which is
Yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah, amazing lap. Don't know if you're downstream, but yeah, a great lap from you. Anyway, last question for all of you. On Sunday, you will have Brazil, the penultimate race. Of course, the championship could be decided as now. I believe the Spaniard now takes the lead by 1 point. So, yeah, last, well, penultimate race in Brazil. Opinions of the track and how do you think you'll do? Starting with the Spaniard. Fair enough. Well, Jack, how about you?
Brazil is a good track. I really do like it. I've always liked it on the F1 games, especially this game. It's a really flowing track. Center Masters, if you get it right, then you're set for the basically for the rest of your quali lap. And yeah, but well, for the straight on the quali lap. But it's a good track. Obviously, FPI done well. Hoping for it in F5, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
And Nick?
Yeah, Brazil. I've done a lot of races around Brazil league races, and I've never, I don't think, finished on the podium. I've always had some sort of incident. I don't know. I find it a lot trickier with as the cars have got bigger over the years. I think on like 20 F1 2011, 2012, it was really good, really fun. Now it's like really challenging, which is good I guess. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll hopefully get some time to put some practice in, and then yeah, just I'd be happy with just a battle with Spaniard, even if it was flat 10.
Well, yeah, hopefully that happens. As that will be very interesting to watch. Obviously, two title contenders fighting it out. Anyways, any last things you guys want to mention?
Nope.
Just want to say, obviously, congratulations to Force India as well, because they wrapped up the constructors tonight. So, Mr. P and Spaniard, well done. And yeah, looking forward to. Is it who's left in the championship battle mathematically? Is it just us two or
You,
Mr. P as
Spaniards,
well?
Mr. P, I
Mr. P.
think. Hang on.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. I just want to say congratulations, Spaniard, dominant performance. Made my performance in Belgium look rookie. But not. Yeah, but I mean, not as dominant as that. You won by 44
22
seconds.
laps up a Rouge in the rain.
True. But anyway, yeah,
I
congratulations to
missed that
Force
in
India.
2017.
Because you can't do it now in F1 2018.
Yeah, I missed my assists. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me in the podium interviews. Great race from all three of you. Congrats. Anyways, thank you guys in the stream for watching the stream, enjoying it. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. But other than that, I'm out. Peace.